Does standing online waiting to get into a movie or the DMV or maybe the grocery store or some other event make you crazy? What if you could make a simple mind shift and change everything for the better in your life? Hi, this is Dr. John Michael Salvato, guys. You're watching the Barefoot Millionaire Mastermind Peak Performance Blueprint, our Mind Shift Mastery program, a daily opportunity for us to discuss one small change that we can make in our lives, one small change we can make in our mindset that can impact our lives, our businesses, and the world all around us. And we welcome you today to be part of this discussion. You know, today's discussion is talking about those long lines. You know, so many people, just get all bent out of shape because they have to wait online at the grocery store, the DMV. They got to wait online for their favorite Black Friday sale or a concert event. Well, what if you adopted a mind shift to see those long queues as lines of opportunity rather than inconveniences? What if the universe was gifting you with the opportunity of a lifetime to make new friends, maybe create a connection that could turn into a multi-million-dollar business relationship over the years, or solve one of the great problems in your own personal life, one of the things that causes you the most suffering? What if being on that line at that time is going to introduce you to the person that can eliminate your greatest source of suffering right now? You see, without delays, many of the opportunities that we have in life would just completely be gone. We would have no chance at connecting with those people because of the frenetic pace of our day-to-day lives. You know, it was during those of you who read the blog saw that it was as a result of standing online at the post office that I met one of the greatest mentors in my life, the late Mr. Jim Rohn. After hearing him speak at an Herbalife training in Beverly Hills, there was a woman that was there at the post office with me who said, "I'd like to introduce you to Jim Rohn. I saw you at the event." She saw that I was a young man, and I was 17 and a half, 18 years old, and introduced me to him, and that started a conversation between myself and the man who would be my mentor for 18 years. It was standing online at the bank that resulted in my meeting one of the distributors that turned into the first big earner in my business. In fact, he went on to become one of the first millionaires that I helped to create. And of course, for those of you who know me personally, know that it was as a result of standing online, literally on the internet online, waiting for friends to show up to talk to me about getting together with a neurosurgeon and a reconstructive osteo or orthopedic surgeon, that resulted in my meeting Craig, the love of my life, my fiance and business partner. And so we never would have those opportunities, or I won't say we never would have them, but it would be much harder to make those connections if we didn't allow ourselves that space to see opportunity in those periods of time that otherwise look like we're waiting around. And aside from all of that, what is so horrible about having to meet somebody new? I just really encourage you guys to consider the fact that the universe is always unfolding exactly as it should. And so those people that are around you at any given point in time, in any circumstance and situation, are a gift. They're either a gift that mirrors something back to you that you can release, something you can forgive, something you can let go of, or they're mirroring an opportunity to you to achieve or realize your birthright, to realize that abundance that's waiting for you. And that's the message today, and that's the idea behind this. So I'd love to hear from you guys. To you, I'd also love to hear how everybody's doing on their Inbox Zero project from yesterday. And I thought the real test for me was going to be how I did a couple days out, and my inbox is still at just about zero. There's about 3 or 4 emails that have to be responded to later. But wow, I can't tell you just how excited I get I never got excited about my email, how excited I get every day to say, wow, this really does make my day much more efficient when there's not a bunch of stuff hanging over me, and when I'm not getting caught up in answering emails, maybe for people who don't want to spend the time looking for the answers themselves to a particular question or solution, or the people who ask me questions every day about Empower instead of going to their success coach. And so I now no longer have to tie my morning up with non-productive work. I can say, I'll get to their questions, in the later part of the afternoon, particularly since they're not supposed to be asking me the questions, but asking their success coach who's getting paid to help them. Let them wait. The day will go on. My day will go on, and I'll get the things done that otherwise might get put off. So it's been a great experience for me to do the Inbox Zero, and a great experience for me to really make that mind shift this morning and realize that even something as insignificant as, we live on the riverfront in Harrisburg, but there is a street between me and the park. And standing on the corner, there was a gentleman standing there that was getting ready to walk his dog, and we had a really great conversation. Talked a little bit about some of the changes in our neighborhood and some of the stuff that's going on. And I've seen him just about every day on the riverfront. Usually he's a block away or half a block away with the dog, sometimes with two dogs. And I've never had a chance to really talk to him. And now when I see him in the park, I've made a friend. There's somebody that I can actually speak to. So, Sandy, I hear your microphone going on. So, share with me a little bit of your thoughts about this idea and how the Inbox Zero things go.
Well, I am happy to do that. Look at us. Take us for an example. How did
Exactly.
how did you and I connect? We can take that back to an old Yahoo program called 360, and then to multiply, and then all of a sudden, what happened? We knew that we had other friends, other metaphysical friends, other spiritual friends, other counselors, other guidance, other things that we knew in common. And how would we known that in this big, wide, wonderful internet world we live in? We connected. And that's, to me, that is just a story to be looked upon as the wonders of technology today. You know, um, we connected because I knew Cecil North, you knew of Cecil North, and Cecil North was my best friend. And wow, okay, all of a sudden, you and I, our universe came together through a connection that we made by happenstance.
And years later, we found out that you live in my future house.
God, I hope you're ready to come soon because I'm getting old now. But anyway, I just have to say that while we might just say, oh gosh, who's that person that's bugging me? Or who's that? Or, oh, really? Is that important to me? Well, but if you don't keep your mind open to possibilities, then do we really know what's out there for us? I don't think we do. And you and I are a storybook about that wonderful relationship.
Yeah, I thank you for that. I really agree. Who would have thought that this very refined and genteel Southern lady, and even though you're really from West Virginia, that to me is still the South. It's this refined woman who's right out of a Fannie Farmer novel, would become so precious in the life of this punk monk with the crazy hair and the four-letter words and everything else coming out of his mouth. But it was that openness, I think, that we brought to the moment that allowed that connection that doesn't know age and doesn't know all of these other lines we draw in the sand, and just knows unity and just knows that spiritual oneness and that connection, like you said, that we had with Cecil, that connection that we had with metaphysics and with some of the people in the St. Petersburg metaphysical movement, and just with that connection that we had with truth, and when you do that, you're able to transcend all of those barriers that are imaginary that we create on a daily basis. The
And,
person who sends you, go ahead, I'm sorry.
and we do create those imaginable, I think you called them, barriers.
Right.
And they're just that. They're just barriers to who we are and what we're meant to do and how we can succeed in life. Just this week, I've been challenged by people who are caught because the economy, even though we hear the economy is, oh, so much better here, so much better there, but there are so many around us who are still struggling. And I have to say to those people, but look at it differently. Look at it more positive. Create a positive marketing plan. Don't think that you are defeated, because you're never defeated. Here I am as proof, and here you are as proof. We are never defeated unless we allow it.
Absolutely. And when people ask me or make comments about that, about how the economy is challenged, and oh well, whether they have one perspective that things are horrible because their experience is horrible, or things are better because they look at the overall economy and see that it's better. I like to tell them that the reason the overall economy is better is because more people. It has nothing to do with an administration, nothing to do with leadership, nothing to do with who's in the House or Senate or Oval Office or anything else. What's happened is that more people have taken control of their lives and realized that nobody is responsible for their economy but themselves. And so if your economy right now sucks, if your finances suck, do something. Like Sandy said, do something about it. What can you do today to just make one step closer? And part of that is our focus today. And I don't want to get off focus, but this is a critical part of that. Many of those who are watching this are watching this because they want to improve some facet of their lives. For most, it's their finances. So you need to ask yourself, am I staying in the moment and being open to the opportunities that might be all around me, or am I so busy being wrapped up in me and my problems that I don't see those opportunities, that I'm not open to meeting those new people because I'm so worried about how am I going to pay the rent. And trust me, guys, that I'm not condescending by any means. I have been in your situation, and even as somebody who's built a six-figure and seven-figure income, I've been in your situation recently, walking away from having the courage to walk away from an income with a company that was paying all of our bills, and saying, no, I'm sorry, I don't need to be involved with a company if my integrity has to be compromised. If I have to lie to somebody about something, it's not the right place for me. Having that courage also had the challenge with it that all of a sudden there was zero income. And all of a sudden there was debts they're going to start piling up. And I had to realize and recognize that whole situation was created so that I would truly come to embrace the idea that nobody's responsible for my personal economy but me. Companies aren't responsible for that. Businesses aren't responsible for that. Other people are not responsible for my economy. I'm responsible for my economy. And so as a result of that, I just allowed myself to stay more present because I knew that that was the only place I was going to find the solution. You can't find the solution in the past. You can't find the solution worrying about the future. You can only find the solution by being in the present. And when you're present, you meet people. People come into your life, and the story, that the best example I can give you for that is to tell you what's happened in just the last week. And I believe that if we had 100 people in this room, we could get 100 examples of these same things happening if you really stop and think about it. And that's my challenge for you today, is I would like you to think about what one or two or three significant things happened in your life that wouldn't have happened were you not in a place of having to wait. Now, here's what happened. There's a wellness product I've taken for a while because it helps me with restless leg syndrome at night, and that can be really painful. Anyone who's ever had it knows how that you just want to shake your legs off and make them come off so that you can get some sleep, because they just kind of dull ache, and you want to keep moving them, and it's very annoying, and it's even more annoying if you know that you're keeping somebody awake next to you. It's really troublesome. So there's a product that I've used, and it's actually a product that's designed for weight loss, but and it helped me lose 14 pounds. But the real reason I continued taking it was because it was allowing me to sleep better, and it was taking the problems with the restless leg syndrome completely away, and it was a very good source of collagen. So I was taking that product. Well, it just so happened that the person I was getting it from is directly connected to the business partners that I've dissociated myself with. And I did not want to do business with them, their family, their close friends, anything like that, in any way that might benefit them and their pursuits of unethical behavior. So I didn't want to do business with that person. And the only other person I knew that was selling that product disappeared. I can't find them. They fell off the planet. I had their telephone number and I had their email address. The email bounced back. The phone number is disconnected. So I thought, well, that really sucks because I've only got one more month worth of product left, and I don't know what we're going to do about that. So I need to find another source, either within that company or just create a formula that has all the same components in it, but that's going to be more expensive. I happen to be, sitting around waiting for a friend to show up on Empower, so that I could connect with them and teach them how to use Empower. And while I was there, I figured I might as well get my likes in and shares in for the day. So I was scrolling through, and I saw a guy who looked familiar, who's a chef and who's local to me. He's about 1.5 miles away, and who happens to have the exact same name as one of our former monks, who's a close friend of mine who lives about 6 or 7 blocks away from him. And I thought, well, that's really funny. They both have the same name, and so I reached out to Michael Johnson. I said, hey, I understand that you are involved in this company. I'd like to be a customer. I'm not looking to do network marketing, but long story short, I discovered that the very concept that I brought to the marketplace 8 years ago is a recruiting system that I tried to get our previous company to embrace, and which they 20 years ago, when I first brought it up, they terminated me for using kind of a rudimentary version of it. And then 8 years ago, I tried to get two other companies to embrace this idea. About 6 months ago, I tried to get another company to embrace this idea. None of them would do it. They all said, no, we're not interested. My previous company said, we'll terminate you if you do anything like that. We don't want online marketing. We don't want you to create your own videos. We don't want that kind of structure. And I was really aggravated. And so this gentleman, Michael, said, I want you to take a look at something and tell me what you think. Just plug into it and just see the results. Well, for me to find that the idea that germinated within my creative space was being applied to a company whose products I already loved was really cool. And that would have been enough if I'd have gotten my product, finally found a new distributor and found that my idea was working for people. That would have been enough. But for me, within 48 hours, that system generated 10,000 pre-enrollments. That's good pre-qualified prospects for me. It generated 100 new customers in my organization if I decided to make a commitment and join. And so while I was sitting there looking for ways to increase my income, and we're going to talk about that a challenge I have for you at the end of today's program. By being in the moment, I found something that right now very clearly is not only going to begin to cover our living expenses, but I could definitely see, because of the folks who are close friends of mine that I didn't know were involved in this business, who've been doing it now for 4 months, who have far less experience than me and have far less social media skills than me, are making incredible 6- and 7-figure incomes. So I can see where this is definitely the right place at the right time for me. It's an opportunity for me to continue to lose weight. It's an opportunity for me to help those who are struggling to lose weight. And none of that would have happened if I were not standing on Empower waiting for somebody who was late to show up. If I'd have gotten bitchy or pissy or indignant and said, screw this, they're not valuing my time, I'm not going to wait around for them, I wouldn't have run into Michael Johnson, and things would not have changed in my life. So that's just one example. And so I want to challenge you guys, and we can talk about this tomorrow. I want to challenge you to think about the 2 or 3 things that would have never happened in your life if I'm sorry, I got distracted by that noise. 2 or 3 things that would never have happened in your life if you were not stuck waiting in line, or stuck waiting on the internet, or stuck in a line. Sandy, was there a story you want to share?
Well, just a brief one. I had the same experience just last week. I went to my broker. We have a new broker in my real estate office, and I wanted to stop and say hi. I was in the area, and I thought, oh, heck, I'll just stop and say hi to Fred, the new guy. But it wasn't Fred I was supposed to see. There was another guy over there in one of the little cubicles, and I sat down in the reception area, and I thought, oh, how long is this going to take, right? But it wasn't Fred, the broker, that I was supposed to see. I was supposed to see this other guy, and he had on a shirt with a logo on it, and I thought, wow, isn't that neat? I need one of those. So I said to the guy as he walked by, I said, oh, hi, I'm Sandy. How are you? And do you work for my broker? And he said, hey, Sandy, yeah, I do, but I also sell these shirts. And you know what? He needed something I offer, and that is, if you are in a retirement area in St. Pete, let me do your deal, because I have studied about how to do deals for estates, etc. I can help people who are probably his clients. But had I not opened up myself and reached out and said, hey, I'm Sandy, how are you? I would have never known that might be my next best opportunity to grow my business.
That's awesome. I mean, that's what it's all about, guys. And I'm going to take this one step further, and I'm going to ask you guys, because I would really love more than anything else to see us reach more people. And so my second challenge to everybody out here is, during the month of August, it's now the 9th of August, that we have 20, or we probably have 22 days, I think, left. I shouldn't do math. I think we have 22 days left. I don't know if there's 30 days or 31 days in August, but anyway, we have about 3 weeks. My challenge to you is to find one person that who could benefit from having a one-on-one mentor, who could benefit from being part of this daily group. Invite them to go to barefootmillionairemastermind.com and check out the little chat I had with Jenny Jordan. Find out more about how maybe we can provide them with some services. This is about me being in the right place with you, and you being in the right place with someone else to possibly change their lives for $1 a day. If they go for the gold membership, which has much greater value, it's about $1.26, I think, a day, for them to become part of a movement that could literally change every aspect of their lives. So those are the 2 challenges for you today. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. For those who are watching this on the replay, the same challenges pertain to you as do for me and Sandy here live. And as we do at the end of every one of our programs, I want to encourage you to stay in the moment, to really and truly recognize that this moment has all the potential and all the opportunity and all the power in it. And that opportunity and power and potential exists nowhere else but right here in this moment. Be grateful for everything that you've got, because that gratitude, if you can't be grateful for what you have, you've heard me say before, what's going to make you think you're going to be any happier is more. But that gratitude opens you to the abundance that's waiting for you. Abundance that doesn't exist outside of yourself, but exists within yourself, waiting to express itself. And always remember, the best is yet to come. We'll talk to you soon. Namaste, guys. Thanks, Sandy.